Hope you guys are having one. Oh, come on! Can I just get it right for once? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Here's my new sample pack, FM Imposter. Cool. Hello everyone, my name is KelSounds, and today I want to show you my FM Imposter faceplant preset. I'm also going to be releasing a free sample pack, a total of 20 samples. There's 10 bass loops in there, 5 bass one-shots, and 5 FX one-shots. And so yeah, that sample pack was made with this preset. And then for Sound Squad subscribers, I am going to release this preset and the notch preset filter thing that I made inside of Heap. And so we'll go over that as well as I show you guys my sound design process for this whole thing. And I also want to do a little test run with the Heap preset that I made on some samples here. I think I have like a little snare, a drum loop, and I'm not sure what this is. Oh, another bass sound that I made a while ago. But yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so this is the faceplant preset. I also went ahead and put it inside of an instrument rack. I'm just going to go ahead and ungroup it actually, since I don't really need it inside of an instrument rack. And so basically this preset is 3 square waves, each different settings here. Like the first square wave, I pretty much didn't really mess with the settings too much on this square wave. It's just a basic analog generator. And then square 2, I turned the level to 30% and the harmonic to 5. And then square 3, the level's at 15% and the harmonic's at 13. And so with these square waves layered, it gives it a very FM sound, I would say. But yeah, I don't know, it's just basic square waves. There's really no FM synthesis happening. And then I added a sub and put that in its own separate effect lane here. And so the lanes, for lane 1 I have it sent to lane 3, and lane 2 sent to lane 3 as well. So that way our square waves have like their own effects and send directly to lane 3 as a master. So yeah, I'm going to show you my FX, but before we do that I want to show you my macros. So I have frequency, and that just actually doesn't control like a sync or anything. That is being controlled by this Heap over here. And so this Heap is actually just a bunch of narrow bandpass filters, and I'll show you guys that in a minute here. But yeah, that's controlling our frequency. Then I have master pitch, and that's just controlling this master pitch down here on the bottom of our faceplant. And then frequency and pitch is controlling both our frequency and our master pitch. And then I have an off on pitch mod, and so right now this is off, but when I turn it on, there's a little bit of a vibrato effect. And then the next thing I have is an off on bit crush, and then I have an off on delay, which is just a simple dual delay. For our effects, again, I have this notch sweep Heap filter that I was working on. And so basically all this is just very narrow bandpass filters. And so basically the setup is the same for each parallel processed group here. Like I said, each setup is the same, except the cutoff for each lane is being set at a different frequency. And then I added the bit crush. That's the off on bit crush effect up here. And so yeah, the bit crush effect is being controlled by this macro. And they're all just set at different frequencies. And then the last thing that I added was a disperse effect, and these are inside of snap heaps as well, and inside of those are 2 disperse effects and a little bit of distortion. And so I will say this snap heap is a little bit CPU intensive. Just a little heads up, if you do use it, I would definitely recommend like freezing your track or something, just because of all the lanes being processed here inside of all of the effects. So yeah, the CPU will spike every now and then. And for the disperse effects, I went ahead and controlled the off-on with a remap down here. This is with the disperser effect on, and then this is with it off. So yeah, you can definitely hear the delay happening. Same thing for the off-on bit crush. The remap is controlling the mix of each bit crush audio effect. And then the frequency sweep is basically just controlling the cutoff of each bandpass filter. And inside of this first bus, I have the same setup, except I went ahead and boosted this frequency, which is around 100 Hertz, with a shaper. And then I also have the mix going up by 50% whenever I turn on the disperse. Alright, perfect. So that is our Snap Heap preset. And so the next effects that I added was a shaper, and I went ahead and turned up the drive a little bit. Then I added 2 high-pass filters cutting at 200 Hertz, and then I did negative 15 decibels of gain reduction before I went ahead and sent it to lane 3 for for our post FX. Inside of lane 2 here, this is just our sub. I just have a simple filter cut at around 200 Hertz. Then for our post FX, I added another shaper to saturate the sound even more. And then I went ahead and tried to recreate an OTT effect, but honestly, when I added the OTT, it didn't really sound that great, and so I was like, alright, I think I'm just going to like listen to each band individually and mix them. And then I was like really thinking, what am I even like compressing here, you know? So like, I don't know, it just didn't really make sense to me since the sound already sounded pretty good. So without the multipass OTTs, it sounds like this. And then with the multipass OTTs, it sounds like this. And so when I added my own OTT effect, I just went ahead and listened to each individual frequency band and started to think like, what do I really want to bring out here? So yeah, these are my settings if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. And then I have a distortion at the end of this post FX for the multipass. Then once I got the sound I was satisfied with, I went ahead and duplicated this multipass again just to bring out the sound even more. And the mix for both of these are turned up to 100%. Then the next FX that I added inside of my post FX was a slice EQ just to kind of clean up the mix a little bit. I did a high pass cut at around 27 Hertz, and then I did a dip at 250 Hertz. And the gain for the 250 Hertz dip is set to -20. And of course, the last thing that I added here was a delay for our off-on delay effects. Inside of this delay, it's just a snap heap doing parallel processing with a dual delay and 2 filters. And then the last thing that I added was a limiter, and I have the in gain at +8, turned it up by quite a bit. And even then, there's still a little bit of headroom in here, so the limiter isn't completely smashing the signal, even when it's turned up at +8, which was pretty nice. For our modulator section, pretty much the majority of what's happening in here is the remaps being used as an on-off switch, and the LFO just to add that vibrato effect that I was showing you guys earlier. I have an off-on pitch modulation. And what's happening here is this remap is controlling the amount for this LFO, and this LFO is modulating our frequency pitch here. So when I turn it on here, and so yeah, that's all this pitch mod modulator group is doing. And then for the bit crush, it's the same scenario. This remap is controlling our off-on bit crush effect inside of our snap heap notch sweep preset, and then this macro knob is controlling the remap. Then same thing for the delay, it's just controlling the mix. And so yeah, that is pretty much our phase plant preset. I'm gonna go ahead and freeze this. I'm gonna unfreeze this track. So now I have our snap heap preset here. So yeah, like I said earlier, all this is just bandpass filters. Sweeping through the frequency spectrum of our samples. And then of course we got the disperse effects and the bit crush effects. So yeah, I wanted to test this preset on some samples here. This is our snare. So if we go ahead and turn this on, we go ahead and turn the mix up all the way to 100%. I'm gonna turn the gain down just because it's a little loud. If you automate it, you can get some pretty cool, interesting samples. I have a drum loop here. Some breakbeat. So let's go ahead and use the snap heap preset on this and see what it sounds like. Not really sure how we can use that on a drum beat, but maybe if we did some cool like audio manipulation. And then of course I want to test it on this little Braam thing, I guess you can call it. I don't really know what you would call this, but this is one of the samples. And so I wanted to try the snap heap on this. I'm going to turn on disperse, see what we get. Huh. You could probably make some really cool ambient noises with this preset. But yeah, that is the notch sweep preset. So hopefully I can probably find some use for it when I'm making future sample packs. It's just a fun little effect to use when doing audio manipulation. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.